What's up, everybody? Coming to you live from my parents' house. We got episode 4 here of the Changavi Aftershow. So, welcome to the most casual show on the internet where any topic goes, and this whole thing is completely unstructured. Basically, the premise of this show, for those of you that are new, I'm just putting my knee up because we're so casual here. Uh, the premise to the show for anybody that's new is basically I brainstorm a bunch of topics before every Changavi show, and you get to see the final product, which is all of the great things that I have researched and kind of try to be a little bit more credible on and get my information right. And then there's a bunch of topics that I don't do anything with, and usually they get rejected. Um, and I decided, why not make an after show where I talk about all of these incomplete thoughts and things that I truly care about, but found no place for them in the show, or they're just too stupid to be in the show. And my mic almost just fell off my desk. That's what happens when it's 11:37 p.m. and you record an episode on a Thursday night during the holidays. Happy holidays, everybody. No, but the Changavi After Show, welcome to it. It's the most casual show on the internet and the most opinionated show on the internet. So don't cite this in a research paper because there is nothing here you should cite, as all of this information is incredibly, incredibly inaccurate for the most part. So do what you will with it. Just going to be going through a bunch of random thoughts here. So enjoy it, I guess. But dude, we have to start this. I got to start off, man. I got to start off by having this conversation about Steph Curry. Are you kidding me? This man finally broke the record on Tuesday. 2,974 threes in like 700 games. That's incredible. That is just absolutely, it's unheard of. Nobody in the sport has even come close. That's a lie because Ray Allen has come close. But in terms of the amount, in the number of games that he did it in, he did it in about 300 or 400 less games than Ray Allen, which is the equivalent of a 3, 4, 5 seasons less. So something like that. I can't do mathematics. For those of you that can, please feel free to discuss. Steph Curry, I guess by the record books, officially became the best shooter of all time, which is great. That's fantastic for him and everybody, who's a Warriors fan, e.g. me. So congratulations, Anuj, for being a fan of the best team in the league. I know. How does it feel to be a fan of the best point guard in the league? Good, honestly. I'm just kidding. But anyway, nonetheless, Stephen Curry is officially considered. Jeez. Dude, there's this long hair sticking out of my microphone. I just found it. Gross. Oh my gosh. This show is off to a fantastic start. Now, but anyway, Steph Curry broke the record. And honestly, I've been struggling to find the words to uh kind of articulate what this record means, because there are a lot of people out there who came up with very poignant tweets or very articulate speeches in describing and expressing the way that they were feeling, and I felt those same emotions, but I couldn't articulate it in the moment because it was just so fresh and it happened so quickly. And then it was like, oh my gosh, we're celebrating, but it happened, and it was a lot at once. But I thought I would try my best and try to kind of express what this record and what Steph means to me, I guess, as a Warriors fan, because I think what Steph means to me personally as just a Golden State Warriors fan. I've never met the man before. I've never interacted with his family at all. I I really have zero connection to the Curry family, but I feel like I love them for some weird reason. Probably because of the fact that this man has been one of the main integral parts of 5 straight finals appearances five straight NBA finals appearances, 3 championships, all brought back to my city, to my hometown team that I've been supporting since I was a kid. And also the fact that he looks like an average guy. Steph is not a physical specimen. When you look at LeBron James, that man is 6'10". He looks like a straight up monster. He looks like a genetically modified human. Steph Curry looks like a guy that I could probably meet at YMCA, right? In terms of his physicality. I'm not saying in terms of like his play. Okay, you can't just meet Steph Curry at every YMCA. You can meet wannabe Steph Currys. Oh, I know a lot of wannabe Steph Currys, including myself. But but yeah, I mean, like I think like he's made the game of basketball so much more accessible to people that look a certain way or look a little shorter or aren't the most physically dominant human beings on the planet. And he's just done so much, and he's also done so much for this community. I mean, the Bay Area was like the Warriors were perennial losers before he got here, and he has become one of the main reasons why they have won so many championships is due to his play, due to his level of play, due to his ability to be able to raise the level of other players on his team. I mean, he's just everything you could ever ask for in a human being off the court, with um the way that he like is a father, the way that he handles situations outside, the way he's given back to the community through nonprofits like Eat, Play, Learn, stuff like that. All of that stuff, but also like the on the court shit as well. Just showing anybody, any 10-year-old kid that they can find a way to break the game of basketball. Whether that be shooting or whatever. And I think personally for me, like it's a combination of both. I don't play basketball, but I think like I really just do love Steph because of the fact that he kind of does represent some aspects of like who I am as a person, and that like I don't consider myself as this physically dominant human being, even though I am 6'5", which is pretty tall, especially like considering my peer group. But he kind of just the way that he goes about, and I guess like it's more so like for me, like I connect to him on an off the court basis because the way that he just comes off, the way he carries himself with confidence, but also with the fact that he's very humble. Just an incredible human being by all accounts, and just a really good role model, and I couldn't have asked for a better role model. And I think on Thursday it was really nice to be able to celebrate that. Or sorry, Tuesday. It was really nice to be able to celebrate that for a second. And I always, any chance I get, you like someone were to just ask me, it doesn't matter if it was like a news station in freaking Jackson, Mississippi, and they were like, talk about Steph Curry for an hour. I'd be like, okay, bet, do it for free. Like, I don't care because I just love him so much. And I just really genuinely love the way that he plays basketball, and what he has given to my community, as well as like just everything that he's given to the sport is I mean, and he's on my team. He's on my team, which is the coolest part of it all. So that's a really special thing. And I don't think the Bay Area is going to see another athlete like him because um it's it'll just never happen. He's that special. Steph is that special, and he's one of one, and I'm lucky I got to see him in my lifetime. I think that's one of the blessings I have as a sports fan is I got to watch Wardell Stephen Curry II for 12, 13 years now, and hopefully another 10 more, although that's probably not going to happen. But anyway, Steph Curry, awesome. Speaking of being a sports fan, though, I've been running into some trouble, um, particularly with people that I live with, aka my parents. No, I'm not gonna like rat them out for something. Okay, don't worry. My parents actually hate the fact that I'm a sports fan. It's become this fight in our household, and I'm not gonna call it a fight because it's not a legit fight, but it's become this whole thing of like a lot of passive aggressive comments coming both ways. You know, my parents say I scream too loud, and when the Niners are playing, and my parents say like basketball and football are stupid and they're not real passions, and that I should go and do something else, whatever that is. So I was actually thinking about that a lot, like how watching sports isn't a real passion, how it's a waste of time. Um, why is watching sports a waste of time? Like, I'm curious. If for those of you that do think that it is a waste of time, I'd be very curious to find out as to like why you think that and why you believe that to a certain extent. Sorry, I'm gonna move the camera a little bit because it's a little off center. That might be a little better. Although the microphone. Hold on. A little audible here. A little audible. No. See, this is what I have to do. Positioning. Anyway, okay, sorry. But we'll stick with this for a bit. But my parents have been talking to me, or not talking to me, but they've been kind of expressing this fact that being a sports fan is not a real thing, right? It's like, why are you idolizing these athletes you'll never meet in your life, right? Why are you watching this game? Like, it's so boring. And I think the conclusion that I've come to this thing of like being a sports fan and why I do it is a couple things. I think first is the fact that maybe uh watching sports has kind of given me a place in society. It's also built some of my best relationships. I think back to a lot of like my best friends, right? I think back to a lot of my like really close relationships that I have with guys and girls for that matter. And a lot of those relationships really do revolve around sports and sporting, and like watching sports, or whether it have been playing pickup basketball or talking about the playoffs or whatever it is. Sports has definitely built a lot of my relationships throughout my life. And I think I consider sports to be really important because of that fact, because of the fact that basketball and football have gotten me in the door and have gotten me friends that I could have, easily not have like gotten if it weren't for sports. In that, like, it was our initial conversation topic. It was what got us close, and then you use that to springboard into other areas, obviously. But sports is a major thing, and I think it's like that for a lot of not mostly men, I presume, but also I'm sure like there's a lot of like female and also like different male friend groups that like sports has really bonded them together, and can really create very inseparable bonds. In addition to it strengthening the relationships between not only just my family, not only just friends and family members in particular, I think sports just really encapsulates a lot of positive memories for me. I've watched these teams for years. I've watched the Warriors, I've watched the 49ers. And it's been a wild ride, of course, but at the end of the day, like I get mad and I get angry at, teams and players and coaches and whatnot. But at the end of the day, like, I would not have it any other way. There was no other there was no other thing I would rather be doing than watching that Super Bowl game in 2020, right? When my 49ers lost. There was nothing I would have rather been doing than listening on the radio in April of this year when the Warriors were knocked out of the play-in tournament, of the playoffs. Uh, like I could not picture myself doing like crocheting a blanket instead of watching the Warriors game. Like that to me is just, that's not who I am. Sports has become this huge part of my life where I need to watch it. It's just the excitement of a sporting event, the thrill of watching your team, like the bonds that you've built with this team that have translated into real life. It's tough to really articulate into words, but sports has given me a lot that other things just can't and haven't in my life. And I think it's being a sports fan is very important for those reasons. And it may not be your traditional passion, it may not be an active passion, right, so to speak, a quote unquote active passion where you're doing something or you're actively bettering yourself, or you are constantly striving to be better. Watching sports may not be that passion, but I think watching sports is definitely a legitimate passion in that you are bringing people together, in that you are in these communities, whether it be on Twitter or Facebook, and no matter how toxic those message boards may get, like, at the end of the day, like, and I'm sorry for using that cliche, you want to just see your team be successful, and I think that's the most important thing for any fan. But not only just being successful, just you want to have fun, and sports can just give people that instant like thrill, that adrenaline rush, the fun. It's hard to describe. It's just a series of emotions, and once you attach emotions to a particular memory or subject or thing that you do, it becomes very hard to stop. and I don't think I'll ever stop watching sports in my life. So for those of you expecting me to go on a lecture about how to crochet a blanket, I don't think that'll happen for a while. If it does, when I'm 28, 29, it's probably because of the fact that the 49ers have relocated or some shit. But I don't think that's going to be the case. At least this year, I don't, or for the next few years, I don't think that'll be the case, unfortunately. So for those of you that want that crochet content, go somewhere else. Actually, I have a lot of friends that do crocheting, so they would happily talk to you about it. But anyway, enough of sports, man. I'm done with that. December, right? It's December. We're officially in the holiday season. It's December 5th, 16th. Holy crap. We're almost halfway through December, which is insane. And people have constantly been telling me, they're like, bro, I think this is a college thing. It's probably a college thing because, that's the people I'm surrounded by and the social media I'm surrounded by. Everyone's like, it's cuffing season, dude. You gotta find someone so you can, hang out with them now and snuggle through the winter, dog, if you know what I mean, Nah. So anyway, apparently it's cuffing season, according to various Gen Z / millennial trends, where you're supposed to find your plus one now. Apparently December is a good time to find singles. So good for you, for those of you that are looking. I get this question a lot from friends, acquaintances. I guess we're at the age now at 21 where like dating is acceptable. Like when you're 16 or 17, no one really takes your relationship seriously. But like when you get to 20, 21, 22, like and you start dating someone, it's like, oh, you're dating now. Oh, oh, oh. It's legit. 18 plus. Like it's like, okay, relationships, shit's getting real. All right, all right. Um, but a lot of people ask me like, are you gonna date? Like, will you date? Like, is this the time? Are you thinking? Do you have someone in mind? Are you shopping around? I don't know what the hell the terms are. Honestly, I'm not. Like, I'm not looking for a relationship at this moment. Like, I'm not looking to just be like, hey, let me go and fall in love and just jump in and wazoo. No, that's not who I am. Honestly, like, I think when it comes to relationships, the way that I feel is I I I'm ready like for it, but I mean, I feel like I'm ready mentally. Although there are definitely a lot of things that I feel like I would learn. I've never been in a relationship in my life. So that's a whole separate conversation, or at least in like a long-term dating relationship. And I don't think that I would like I don't think I want that right now. I have I have a hell of a lot going on besides that. I mean, first of all, like I live with my parents, so it's not like the ideal place to date, being at your parents' house, shopping around, as the kids say these days. Second of all, I'm not sure if I want dating apps. I'm really not. It's something I've been like mulling over for quite some time now. It's this whole thing of like, like maybe dating apps could be cool. Like you could meet new people like without having to leave your house. That's kind of legit. And you can kind of check them out, like check profiles out. But I've heard from a lot of people, and I think like I've had limited experience on these dating apps. That it's very bot heavy. The matches aren't great, and people seem to just have it for fun rather than actually seriously committing to something. And I think that's legit. I think that's fair. But again, like I'm not. I've used Tinder a couple times. I've used Bumble a couple times. I've like experimented, seen what's out, like seen how they work, what the swipe right, swipe left thing is, and I think that's fine. I think it was never something that like really just blew my mind or anything. I think I'm not anti dating app, but I'm not pro dating app either. People say like, oh, you're better off like meeting someone through your passions or through school or whatever. Like, yeah, totally, I agree. But I'm also like not in the mindset to do that right now. I don't know, like my mind is not focused on a relationship. It's not focused on me going out and meeting someone. I I could argue to you, yeah, at 17, 18, like that was something I maybe potentially wanted. When I went to college first, like I was like maybe like I want to actively try and date. That was like a goal of mine. Obviously, didn't work out. But But like, I think like 2 years removed from that initial like, oh my gosh, like college, just a whole new set of people, all these potential, things to do and people to meet. Like I'm over that. It's been 2 years. Like I mean, I've lived at home obviously for quite some time now. But I don't see myself. I don't visualize myself particularly in dating right now. It's just not something that I see, and it's not something I think I'm ready for. But I mean, like that being said, who knows? Like if the opportunity presents itself, like I could be open to it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like absolutely not. Like I'm so unopen. I'm so con to it. But I could definitely, I definitely just like at this point in my life, like want to keep things open, want to keep things fresh, and see what happens. But mentally though, and like in terms of like where I'm going, I don't see anything happening in the future. So the question of how do you feel about relationships, Anuj? That is my answer. Is I don't think I'm in the headspace right now. So that's where I'll leave that. And I think that is a fair answer. I think like it normalized that being a good answer. That like I'm not right. Like I'm just not mentally there. And I think that's cool. But I'm open to it. If some opportunity or hypothetical situation comes up, maybe let's see. Anyway, this leads into another topic of mine, because I've been thinking a lot about am I being too negative when it comes to the Changavi show? As you know, I had an episode last week titled "Horn Dog Theory," where I basically went in on Mindy Kaling and questioned a lot of what she was doing in terms of the way that uh, she conducted and has created a couple of shows and series that I am not a big fan of. So I obviously went on a pretty big rant. I've been very vocal about my distaste for Mindy Kaling and her shows, um, and I think I went a little over the top. Like I'll admit it. I ranted a little bit, whatever. Totally. But I'm also thinking to myself, like, just I'm looking at all the shows that I'm like doing, and I'm like, am I being negative? Am I providing an equal kind of representative balance of like being positive and being negative? And I was thinking about it, and honestly, it leads to I think like where this all kind of delves from is this whole idea that like on the inside, like when you meet me as a person, I tend to be someone who's more negative. I do lean more pessimist, more, oh, that's not going to go right, or like what if this goes wrong? Like that's definitely sort of my mentality of thinking. I don't know where that comes from. I'm not trying to self-therapize myself right now, but I do feel that I can be very negative and I can be very pessimistic. Uh I'm not an optimist by any means. I've been trying to inject small doses of optimism into my life, but I do feel that in my heart of hearts, I am a very negative person, and I think the way that I've changed of being negative is that in high school, not even in high school, but just like when I was younger, I used to say like, "Oh, I'm being realistic," like that's just a fact. Like I'm being freaking realistic. Like this is not going to go over well. And then, as I got older, I was like, hold on. Why are you thinking like that? Why is it always that, oh, it's going to go bad, or this is not going to be good, or the situation is going to, go awry? Like why are you thinking in that state? Why is there no hold on 1 second? Like let's think this through and think of something positive that could happen. And I think recognizing it is definitely the first step, but also like executing on it takes a while. And I'm not, by no means am I an optimist. Like I will tell you that right off the bat. Even now at 21, I'm not an optimist. But it's definitely something I've been working on, is being more optimistic, being more positive, leaning on the more positive side. um And I think it's it's gonna continue to be a work in progress. But am I too negative? And I think, does it come out in my podcast topics? Like, does my personality project in the way that I present information? And that's something I've been, you know, trying to analyze for quite some time here. But I don't personally know. It's I think it'll kind of you know, I, I'll have to have more conversations with people that listen to the episodes. Tell me if my stuff is negative all the time, or if it's too positive or whatever. But I think finding a balance is tricky, between the stuff that like people want to hear, or like people versus like the stuff people don't want to hear, and also like the positive perspective versus the negative perspective, because there's a variety of both. There is a lot of negativeness in the world, and there is a lot of like being negative in terms of specific moments. Like, I'm very negative when it comes to politics. I'm very negative when it comes to Mindy Kaling. But maybe I should, present like, oh my gosh, like at least we have somebody, compared to 20 years ago when South Asian representation was nothing. I mean, positives in politics today, at least it's not Donald Trump. I mean, like, like it's not. And sorry to my Trump supporters out there, you probably listen to that and we're like, wow, what a fucking asshole. He's so negative, So like, this is the whole thing, right? It's just like, like I don't understand this whole, the negative thing. Someone is going to be unhappy. That's the point. Someone is always unhappy with any take I post. And that's okay. But I just gotta just be like, yo, like, I respect that you're unhappy, but that's my opinion. And struggling to share that is definitely it's a challenge, but I'm working through it. Been trying to like increase the quality of the podcast. There's a lot of big announcements that I have coming next year. I've been working on some stuff. Not content wise, but more so like brand wise, quality wise, and just like kind of the behind the scenes action regarding the podcast. I have a lot of stuff in the works. It's not necessarily like complete yet. I can't sit here and tell you like, oh my gosh, like it's done. But there is a lot of there's a lot of work being done on the behind the scenes end of things. I know a lot of people have had some complaints about the camera quality and about the lighting, and some people say I repeat myself too much in my content, etc., etc. Thank you, Dad, for that criticism. You're not going to watch this because you don't. Anyway, if you watch that, shout out. But I mean, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I'm working on right now with the podcast, and particularly with quality and all of that, and it's definitely like, it feels like for the first time like I'm really committing to something, and I think it's cool. Like, I think it's cool that I've like definitely just gone the full 9 yards and am doing the quality adjustments necessary, and are looking into lighting, and is looking into this and that, and that's dope. And I'm so happy that I've been able to do that, because 3 years ago I would have been too scared to put monetary value down. But now, like, I'm really putting my money where my mouth is with this thing, and trying to make some stuff happen. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I'm really like starting to see, I guess, like with my creative projects, like I'm starting to like go more full into it. And I'm like proud of myself for that. I don't say like, I don't really vocalize self-pride that often. It's something I'm trying to get better at, in that I'm not good at telling myself that I did good. Or that I've done good. I'm not really good at celebrating that, because I worry that if I celebrate it, then I'm getting too happy and that I'm gonna lose out on the future. But I really just want to be like fucking like proud of myself. And I am. I am. You know why? Because I'm telling you, 5 years ago I wouldn't have been able to do this. 5 years ago I would not even have the guts to put up a camera and talk the shit that I talk today. Right? And I am so happy that I'm finally like, you know, expressing this side of myself. And I think it's opened me up to being more honest with my friends, being more honest with my family and everybody. And I'm glad. Like, this podcast has given me more than I could have imagined in terms of like how I've been able to apply the lessons that I've learned in the podcast to different aspects of my life, and I couldn't be more thankful. So that's cool. But back to the fact that I am increasing a lot of behind the scenes content. I just wanted to shout out myself and say that I'm very proud of myself for putting money where my mouth is and trying to get this shit to work and blow up one day. Hopefully, we'll see. See, there's the negativity. God, see, it's too much work to be done on myself, which is why I can't be in cuffing season right now. See how all of this ties together? I'm a fucking genius. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've been really struggling recently, honestly, with not body image, but more so like eating. Uh, in that I really enjoy junk food, man. I really do. I really like eating pizza. I really love it. The satisfaction I get when I eat some fucking gross, like oily, greasy, disgusting food is great. I love it. And then the next morning you feel terrible, but I still love it. I've been trying to consistently eat healthy, which is something I haven't done since college. Honestly, the pandemic really fucked my eating habits. I became more lazy and all that, and I'm trying to like unlearn that. I've been really inconsistent with like fitness and like really, being in shape, which is scary. I've been, trying to get back into it, be more in shape, be more tapped in regards to like my physical health. It's something I've been, I think it's very important. And I'm really trying to work on being healthy, but at the same time, like I just really do enjoy like being a lazy ass. Like that is like my biggest hobby is I love sitting in bed on my computer doing nothing productive. But then I get anxiety and I need to do other things. Like I can't do that for more than 15 minutes without getting scared that I'm not doing something. But that's just me. But I'm trying to be like healthy for a long period of time, I guess is my point. And that I'm trying to make is like, I really want to just like hit the health grind heavy, like big, and just attempt to just be in shape, be healthy, be putting food into my stomach that is is good for me rather than just makes me feel good for about 5 minutes before you realize like, oh god, that's gonna take a while to burn off. But it doesn't help working at a pizza place. You lose track. I've been trying to eat a little healthier. Just do salads instead of pizza, that type of thing. So we're working on it. We're working on it. It'll happen. I'm trying to take it day by day. And if I do want a pizza one day, fuck it. I want a pizza one day. You know what? Yeah, that's it. But eating healthy on a budget is a whole other thing, dude. That is like you cannot be broke and eat healthy. Unless it's so hard. It's so hard. Even people like it is very difficult to be broke and eat on a budget. Eat healthy on a budget. Anyway, oh man, I'm tired. But I'm not tired for you guys because I can't show that type of energy. I have to be vigorous. I have to have youthful vigor. Speaking of which, I was almost cast on a TV show. Did you guys know this? Can I tell you a story? Can I tell you a story? Okay. I'll tell you a story. I was almost cast on a TV show. And this show is currently out on Netflix right now. It's called 20 Somethings Austin. So you want to know the story? Okay, so it's not like a crazy story or anything. Basically, like Instagram targeted me as their consumer because as someone who loves media and TV and all that stuff, I do a lot of Google searches in regards to pop culture and whatnot because I have a show about pop culture. I gotta do what I gotta do. I got a Google form notification. This was probably like November, December last year. So this was even before the Changavi show was like conceived. But I had this Google form thing that came up on my computer one day and I was bored and I was like, screw it. Like literally this time last year. And so what did I do? I just put it up. Like I just submitted the information. It was like, what's your name? Like, are you how old are you? 21. Perfect. Like you fit the age category. Like, what are you doing with your life? What's your life story? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like check a bunch of boxes and submit it. It was like, okay, cool. And I talked about podcasting and, how I'm Indian and all that stuff, blah, 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 whatever. Submitted. It was like an official Netflix Google form. So it was legit. It wasn't like some fucking sketch ass thing where it was like, I'm Nigerian prince, give me $4,000 or die. Right. So it wasn't like stupid. A couple weeks later, I get an email that's like, hey, like, we loved your application. We'd love you to submit one more supplementary thing, blah, blah, blah. It's for the show where you'd get the chance to live in Austin for like 5 months and hang out with people and blah, blah, blah. And I read through the kind of supplemental draft or contract thing, and it literally was like, it felt like I was gonna go play fucking, or it literally felt like I was signing a contract for, or not signing a contract, but like reading a preliminary thing for Jersey Shore. And I was sitting there and I was like, Jesus, I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm not trying to go play Jersey Shore. Also, like, my parents would freak the fuck out if they found out that I was going on a Netflix casting or Netflix show titled 20 somethings with a bunch of people that are older than I am, and I'm a tremendously awkward human being. So that would not have gone well. I really like, and I watched the first episode and I was like, wow, I do not fit in. I would not fit into this group. Um, there's like one nerdy guy, so like I think I would have like been friends with him, but maybe I would have been the nerdy guy instead of him, right? Maybe I was the typecast they were looking for. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I almost got cast on 20 somethings Austin. And and I mean, like, I could have been famous. I could have been famous. Almost famous. Almost famous. Great movie, by the way. Watch it if you haven't already. Anyway, I did almost get cast on a TV show, and that's my story. So, no, I didn't almost get cast. It was literally like, here's a supplementary application, submit this video, and do a bunch of work. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Long story short, I'm not on 20 somethings Austin, so you can't catch me there at 9/7 Central or whatever the fuck it is. Anyway, dude, and that leads me to this, right? I'm 21, but I feel 47. In that, like, I'm a young person, okay? Theoretically, like, look at my birth certificate, I'm pretty young. Um, and yet everyone perceives me like I'm some old man. That like like, he doesn't know how to use technology at the pace that the younger influencers do. Or like, oh, like, he doesn't drink as much alcohol as as his peers do. Or, oh, like, what is another thing? Like, he's so, what is like an old man thing? Like, he watches football and drinks beer on Sundays. I don't know. But like, I feel like not only do people perceive me as that, I'm starting to feel it myself, that I feel like I'm really young person. Like, I am young, like, in terms of, my age and some of my interests. Like, this podcast is a very young person, Gen Z thing to do. Like, I want to drop out of college. Like, this is a very Gen Z thing to do. And then you have like more other characteristics of like me being, you know, there are just other old soul characteristics that I have that, are very like, oh, like, I value working and I value hard work and I value going and getting a job and this, that, and the other. Um, and I don't necessarily value like social media at the high levels that people do, even though like I have a podcast. So, like, I don't know. I really do feel a lot older than I'm supposed to, and it scares me, but it also like makes me smile because I do enjoy, like, having some level of maturity in some areas. There are some areas where I am the most immature motherfucker you'll ever meet in your life. E.g., like dating. I would cry. Um But I also feel like in other areas like career, finances, like life stuff, the way, like, where I want to go, like how I carry myself in particular career situations. Like, I feel like or even like in some social situations, I feel like I'm much older than I put on. And I think that can be a good thing and I think that can be a bad thing, but I feel 40. I don't act, sometimes I act 5, sometimes I act 35, but I feel like I'm a highly volatile person. I'm the Tesla Motors of individuals. So shout out to Tesla. If you own their stock, because it just goes up and down, up and down. Wow. Did not expect me to compare myself to Tesla. Anyway, in terms of my maturity. But yeah, I do feel old. So maybe I wouldn't have fit in on this 20 somethings Austin TV show that I was almost cast on. I was going to be the star. Okay, let's admit, let's like all of us who are listening to this right now. Can we all sit here and say that I would have been the fucking star of the show? Okay, I would have been the goddamn Leonardo DiCaprio of 20 somethings Austin. Anyway, I feel like I say anyway a lot. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna try to say that less. So speaking of being young, I feel like I'm at the age right now, 21, 22, this kind of time in my life, where a lot of my peers are starting to graduate college and are, graduating college slash graduating early slash doing all these great things, incredible things at a very young age. This is the era of social media where opportunity is in your face. And I am lucky that I have a lot of friends who have multiples of thousands of followers on their social medias for doing great things, for making good content, for being good people, and for, being being what Gen Z deems them to be, valid creators. And that's cool. It's cool that I have a couple creator friends that have done it, that are not have done it, but like have been successful. It's cool to like see that and be like, look up to them and be like, damn, like I could do it too. If they can do it, like I could definitely do it. Like they come from the same area, right? They went to my high school, or like even in other areas, like in other fields, like you see like other kids, in your grade, like that were sitting next to you in math class, and suddenly like they're working SWE at a Google. Like it's like, what the F? Like what? Like hold on. Or like, the kid that, you would sit next to at lunch, suddenly, graduating from UCLA 3.5 years. Like it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, wow, life moves quick. So I'm at that sort of pivotal time in my life where things are just moving and people are moving on and people are going to all these grand stages and doing awesome things, and I totally respect that. And I know a lot of TikTokers. There were a couple TikTokers in my high school that have definitely blown up. A couple influencers, a couple people on social media that are like doing great things with their social platform and trying to, do things in their respective industries. There's just one particular TikToker I want to talk about real quick from my high school. Great person. They're a great individual. I've known them since middle school almost, and they recently got famous on TikTok for doing some skits, but also they are promoting various other things, that other projects that they're involved in, and they're doing great. They're doing awesome, and I totally respect that. And honestly, like all the love, like right here. But this individual has on a couple occasions, this isn't like a regular situation. This particular individual has posted a lot about or has posted a lot about how they were treated negatively in high school, and they were treated negatively, and they were seen as the bottom, and they were called homeless, and they were bullied, and all of these various individual things. But it was weird because I saw that, and I saw like 2 or 3, 4 posts like that, of this individual saying that they were doubted and that they were put at the bottom and that their peers were kicking them down. And I remember very specifically in high school, and I'm not trying to like take away from this person's internal experience, because who knows, bullying could have totally happened. But this individual, from my perception, and maybe, perception isn't always reality. I'm totally with that. This person, in my perception, was like one of the most charismatic people I've ever met. Really just bringing people in, constantly had people surrounding them, was very involved in various student organizations. Just this person was like everywhere. They were the shit. Like they kind of had it together. They were pretty popular, and for them to kind of make these sort of things up, not make it up, but at least in my view, like, it's like, what? Like, that's not true. I don't think that this person was necessarily like on the bottom all the time. I think they were on top. Like, I thought they were on top most of the time. I thought in terms of, and that got me thinking in terms of identity and like this individual. Obviously, this individual is entitled to their opinion and they can say whatever they want because it's their platform. And frankly, they have way more followers than I have and possibly will ever have. So good for them. But it got me thinking. I was like, I don't ever want to like lie about my identity. Like, I don't ever want to like lie about my experience in terms of, and I'm not, I personally think it's a lie of what this individual is saying, but who knows? There's so many different stories and narratives of the way high school goes. It's a very complicated time in people's lives, and maybe I didn't see all of it. But for me, like what I saw, like what I want and like what that got me thinking about was like I don't ever want to lie in terms of like my narrative, in terms of like the way I was brought up. Like I was never, like I'm not gonna sit here and be like I was a complete loser outcast in high school. You know, um, I wasn't. I don't think so. I don't think I was a complete outcast. I think like to a certain extent I had very limited friends due to a variety of factors. But we can talk about my high school social existence when it comes up. I don't know. I don't feel like it's relevant right now. But I mean that really did definitely get me thinking. Like like there are a lot of people out there that are getting clout and that are coming up with stories that social media isn't always reality. These same people that are putting up great content and you could think are like, whoa, like he's cool, she's cool, they're cool. Like in reality, like they could have been totally different people if you've met them in real life, and they could have variety of different experiences and all of these different things that you may not otherwise think of right off the bat like that. So I don't know, this particular individual TikToker that went to my high school, like I wish him nothing but the best. They're sorry, I said their gender, um but I wish them nothing but the best. I really hope that they have all the success in the world, and it's nothing but love. Like honestly, like I really do wish nothing but the best for them, and I yeah, like there's nothing more to say because I yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have anything else to say because I don't know, like I'm at a loss for words for some reason. That doesn't usually happen to me. Maybe it's because I'm tired. But I got one more topic to talk about, and then I'll leave you all. I know it's been 47 minutes of me ranting and pulling hairs off my microphone and adjusting the camera and freaking out and all that. So I'll leave you with this. The whole TikToker situation at my high school and like me really processing that and thinking about it got me thinking like what types of people really get on my nerves. Who like really just like grinds my gears in my head. And I've officially come to an answer about this question. Ivy League, elite private school, elite public school, individual kids, for the most part, really get my gears going. Specifically, those who major in tech, and specifically those who are men, for the most part. So, I understand that's a very uh, niche subset of like people who really grind my gears. No, I honestly thought of this like because like I'll like Instagram, go through people's stories and whatnot. And I saw like 2 or 3 or 4 like tech douches or people who I perceive as tech douches, and saw their stories and I was like, yeah, I'm so glad I never have to talk to these people ever again. I don't like tech bros. I really don't. And particularly those at like at my high school or from my general area. So I grew up in the Silicon Valley. So everybody, for the most part is pursuing a career in tech or data science or computer science, or if they're feeling really fucking frisky, fucking systems engineering, right? Like that's most of my friends, most of my peer group, most of the people that I interacted with for a specific stage of my life and my community are going after these, sort of 9 to 5, 150K plus paying jobs out of college. And they are the biggest douches on the planet. I'm not saying it's everybody, because there are people out there who really love tech and they love engineering and they will, spend their days if they could for free just on fucking circuit boards. Like that's the type of people that they are. I'm not saying this is everyone, but there are a lot of tech douches at our high schools, okay? Little mini tech bro douches that are going to eventually move to San Francisco and, claim to come up with the next fucking crypto startup and be super cocky and mean and rude to other people, and look down upon their other peers doing other things. It happens. I don't know what it is about tech bros. It's just this very specific attitude. There are good things about tech bros. They're ambitious, they're confident, they're smart. um yeah, some of them are smart, some of them just bullshit and they don't know what they're really talking about. But I I don't know. It's this image of like tech bros, and there's like a couple people in particular that I think about when it comes to tech bros, but I'm not gonna like say their names because I would be an asshole if I did. But I don't know. It's just they're everything from their fucking haircut. All tech bros, dude, they have the same stupid, like, they're trying to get the flow going. Like, they try to act like they're some fucking surfer bros from Santa Cruz when in reality, all they want to do is like sit behind their computer and code for Cisco systems all day, right? Like, it's just, like, they have the same dumb haircut. They like post the same shit on Instagram, pretending like they're like doing all these things and they're from free spirit and all that. And they tech pros are just for the most part, like they like overemphasize the shit out of like the littlest of accomplishments. And usually they go to school in like one of four places, right? UIUC, University of freaking Michigan, Cal Berkeley, ugh, and what's the other one, like UCLA, right? Or like UCLA/Stanford. Like those are the ones that like I think of and I'm just like, like, you're so annoying, I hate you. No, I don't hate them, I just really dislike them. I don't know, it's attitude. I think it's mostly attitude because they look at you and they're like, dude, you haven't read fucking Schrodinger's cat yet? You're a goddamn stupid bitch. You have a podcast? You have a podcast? Bitch, I make 200K a year at Meta platforms, bro. 200. And maybe that's just like, me like over exaggerating. It probably is. And that's why this is the most highly opinionated show on the internet. But tech bros are some of the most annoying people I've ever interacted with in my life. And I know tech bros from probably about the age of like my age, like 2021, who are just getting their first internships at Salesforce, Netflix, Meta, um, Microsoft, wherever. And then I know tech bros who are like 27, 28. They're getting up there. They've had jobs for a while. Their ego is rising. They drink the green juice. They're on Hinge. Their biggest personality traits is that they're angel investors. Or maybe they're just taking money from their dad's bank account. Okay, I'm done, I promise. Anyway, I don't know. It's funny. I talk so much like beauty about the Bay, and there's so many good things and like all this stuff. But dude, tech has brought some freaking complete douchebags to this area, and tech has brought this like I am better than you attitude, which I don't like. I think it comes with the nature of like tech in general because everything is constantly moving. You're going to the next product. You're trying to upgrade. You're trying to be better, and so hence like the people kind of have to adapt with that attitude of like I'm the best and there's no one that can take me down. So maybe it's that. Maybe that's where the attitude comes from. But Silicon Valley has brought a lot of douchebags into this area. So shout out to you if you're a Silicon Valley tech bro. I think you're a douche, but honestly, all douches are welcome on this podcast. So please feel free to hit me up if you think you are a tech douche, and we can have a little therapy program for you, and have a conversation about your douchery. But that's for another time because this episode of the After Show is over. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate all of you. 53 minutes in the books. Appreciate everybody for listening. A lot of rambling, a lot of me talking about various different things that have been on my mind recently. You can tell why this is the After Show and not the real show because this is rambling. This is me having fun. And the real show is me having fun, but also talking about real topics that I have researched in depth and not incomplete, uh, thoughts like these. Anyway, if you did enjoy this, I said anyway again, like and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, or sorry, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, click the follow button. Feel free to share this to all of your friends. My social medias will be linked down below in both Spotify and YouTube episodes of this show. Gonna be timestamping everything from now on. Did it on the last Changavi show, so I'm gonna do it here as well. So make sure you check those timestamps out if you want to see like, oh, like this is, I want to hear him talk about this topic, whatever it is. So definitely do that. Thank you guys again so much for listening. Every listen counts, so I appreciate you. If you listen for 10 seconds, if you listen for 5 minutes, if you listen to the end, I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys have an amazing holiday season. I will see you back here next week for another Changavi show, and then we'll be back with another after show maybe, or maybe I'll take a break during the holidays. I don't know. I'll call an audible on that one. We'll see how I'm feeling. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you. Have a good night or day or afternoon. Okay. I'm going to end this because it's really awkward now. All right. Bye. Bye.